You are listening to the Inverted Creative Podcast. I'm Allison.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jen.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the next episode of the Inverted Creative Podcast. According to the intro, I'm supposed to have Brian and Jen here with me, but I'm actually joined by neither of them today due to some scheduling issues. So today is going to be the Allison show. Not actually. We actually have a special guest with us, with me, who has actually been requested to be on this podcast by a couple people. So I'm happy to invite one of my best friends, John Mike.
Hello, good evening, everybody, or morning, or afternoon. Good evening, good afternoon, and good day. Whatever time of day, time, present life that you are listening to this episode.
Oh, goodness. We have nobody to moderate us, and it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a great episode, and I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity of having me on. And it's kind of shocking that people would request my presence, but alas, here we are.
It's because we love our famous friend John Mike.
Oh my gosh.
So our topic for this episode, it originally started with, we knew that Jen was going to be unavailable this week. She is back gallivanting through Europe once again, as she does. So we're going to do a park deep dive originally on Wallaby, Belgium, which Jen has not been to. But I know we just recapped that very recently in our Europe recap episodes, all 2.5 of them. So we decided to focus on a park that Jen still has not been to, but one that we could have John Mike on because he's very, very knowledgeable about this park. Knowledgeable. I really cannot talk today already. Yeah, we're going to do a deep dive on Holiday World.
That's right. Holiday World, the little oasis of holidays in the middle of the cornfields of southern Indiana.
It's a wonderful place. I know Jen has already left a comment saying, can y'all insert me in ranting about how Voyage shouldn't have won Coaster Madness? And my answer to that, Jen, is no, because you do not have a say in this until after you go to Holiday World and ride Voyage for yourself, and you will understand.
See, that take, with all due respect, Jen, that take says that you probably put Phoenix as the best wooden coaster in the world, which is not true either. So, there we go.
You know, as I was watching the Golden Ticket Awards live a couple weeks ago, and I was putting in Discord how Phoenix is probably going to win once again. And then I followed it up with, oh, look, Phoenix won once again.
Give us all a moment to be shocked that Phoenix, yet again, won the best wooden roller coaster. Who would have thought?
That was an excellent moment. Yes, I thought about that a lot.
Speaking of the golden tickets and everything, you went to Carowinds recently, right?
I did, to see the golden tickets.
Ah, well, how was Carowinds? How was your experience at Carowinds? Because I'm assuming with the golden tickets, you all were there as park guests, and perhaps maybe some perks? Question mark.
Perks! Exclamation point.
Oh, even better.
So on the way down to Carowinds, because it's totally on the way, we stopped in Pigeon Forge and did the new racing mountain coaster down there. That was really cool.
That sounds really fun. I've seen so many pictures of it, and I mean, but other than that, I don't know the layout at all whatsoever. So it would still be very, very unique to experience that dueling aspect on a alpine coaster like that, especially going in between all the trees and everything, like in the natural terrain. I'm sure it was probably it's probably really awesome.
I will say there's not a huge amount of trees, but the dueling aspect was really good when it lined up. We lined up a lot better on our first race.
Uh-huh.
So it's like almost like a DNA kind of helix at the end where it's like intertwined, and like Mike was right above me for the entire helix. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
We did not line up as well on the second round, but you know, of course we swapped and we got both sides for both of us, but it was a good time.
Nice.
I do recommend. It's a little pricey, but
Well, I mean,
What mountain coaster isn't?
right? Like, what mountain coaster slash independent attraction in the Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area is not doesn't come with a hefty price tag, I should say. So
Right.
it's kind of a just expected attribute of the experience of going down there as a tourist. You're in a tourist trap, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to charge tourist prices. Ooh, ah,
We love it.
we love it. So, what kind of perks at Carowinds did you all get, if you don't mind me asking?
So we got there too late on Friday to really do too much of anything. I think Mike went down to the hotel bar, but I did not.
As
I was editing the last episode of the podcast in the hotel.
as Mike does.
Of course. Yeah, we were in the Spring Hill Suites, like right on site, so it was very convenient to not have to go anywhere all weekend.
Yes.
So Saturday morning, got to the park early. We actually got there earlier than we really needed to, but we started with we got to ride the new Snoopy Racing Railway, which we had just
Ah,
ridden like a week or two before in Canada as well.
that's right.
But same layout, different theme, very, very cute. We happened upon one of the tours that they were doing in the morning, which was behind the scenes look at Snoopy's Racing Railway and their new raft battle ride. I forget what they're called. I should know this. Splash battle thing. I don't know. I don't even know what it's actually called, but like they're new for 2025 water attraction where you're in a boat and you shoot other people with water guns. So we got,
It's basically a splash battle.
yeah. I don't even remember what it's called. That's very bad of me after doing a behind the scenes tour. But yeah, we got to go behind the scenes of Snoopy's Racing Railway, go through the launch shed that they have, like the booster launch partway through the layout. And then we went over to the splash battle where they gave us a lot of just kind of information about how the ride was designed, different like requirements that it has because it's in South Carolina versus North Carolina and a lot of safety requirements for that. It was all really, really interesting and I loved it. So then after that tour, we went over to the Carowinds behind the scenes where we got a walkthrough of the new Conjuring haunted attraction. It's not a haunted house necessarily, it's a haunted attraction. It is separate from the haunted house passes that they're doing this year. Or what is the fear
Sounds
passes?
spooky.
I'm not a haunted house girly. If you listen to the last episode where we talk about this
Yes.
season, this is very different from anything I've ever done. And when we went through, it was all like lights on. There were no actors in it or anything like that. But like we went through, it's you go in small groups through different rooms, and it's very interactive. Like there are things that you have to grab and carry throughout the whole attraction.
Really?
It is not just like a conga line haunted house like at Halloween Horror Nights.
That is very intriguing. It's almost as if it's kind of blending the concept of, yes, a haunted house, of course, right?
Yeah.
Like a conventional haunted house, but it's kind of blending the concept of a haunted house, perhaps with kind of like a scavenger hunt type of
Mm,
scenario.
not
Yes, no.
really a scavenger hunt. Like you have a guide with you that like takes you through the different rooms. Um,
Okay.
but there's like some parts where you have like a crawl space that you go through. There's some parts where one person in the group is taken to a different spot and goes in a slightly different route from everybody else. It's
Huh.
it it would get me for sure. I would be scared in there. I will be honest.
That's very interesting. I mean, of course, again, we're seeing a lot of brand synergy going on ever since the merger of Legacy Cedar Fair and Legacy Six Flags. And this is definitely one of those opportunities where it's kind of materialized a little bit further, right?
Mhm.
But I think, as you saw with that, you're seeing things that are on a more grandiose scale versus what could have been done with each chain being independent of each other still.
Yeah. And
And
like
so,
this one this experience is at four of the parks. Four of the Cedar Fair parks. I think Kings Island, Cedar Point, Canada's Wonderland, and Carowinds, I think are the four.
And if I was going to pick four of the legacy Cedar Fair properties to put that attraction at because of attendance numbers, those would be the four.
And I do wonder if they're kind of like testing this style haunted attraction in like the four major parks to potentially bring to additional parks in the future.
I can completely see that. And, of course, I'm sure it's completely obvious at this point, the one legacy Cedar Fair park that is omitted is Knott's. But Knott's is its own special animal because of Scary
Right.
Farm and the notoriety and such that it has of some of its specialty or signature haunted attraction. So it does make sense why they wouldn't attempt to put The Conjuring there at Knott's. Plus, it could also just be that Knott's doesn't have the venue space for it to be able to
Right.
host something of that caliber and that size. Uh, but if I was picking some of the Cedar Fair Legacy parks to possibly beta test this at, and I knew that had the resources, the attendance numbers, it would be those four right there: Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, Kings Island, Cedar Point.
Yep. I'm very curious to hear more like the guest reactions from
Oh
that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I know Mike and I talked about doing the one at Kings Island too. I think it's set up like in the crypt for Tomb Raider. It's taken the place of whichever one was there last year. Um and it is like it is a separate paid like price, but like going through it and seeing the quality of everything in there, I think it would be worth the price.
that's very encouraging to hear because I know that that's been very much a talking point of affairs after the merger has happened
Right.
of the quality of attractions, even if it's just a selective seasonal attraction like a haunt attraction. How good would the quality still be? Would it still be there? Would it begin to degrade a bit? But again, being a bigger company now, they can have certain type certain types of brand synergies, like with The Conjuring, that they can tap into that they may have not had the means to do before, and that allows potential for even more bigger and greater things to come in the future. So, it's exciting, and I guess we will see how everything pans out with this.
Yeah. Excited to see it. Um so after our behind the scenes tour of The Conjuring, the park was open by then. I don't even remember what all we did during the day. It wasn't a huge amount. We had our passes came with fast lane for Friday and Saturday, which was very nice.
That's nice. That is very
Um,
nice.
it was very nice. We wrote a few things. I think we did like Intimidator, or whatever, Thunderstriker, whatever the heck it is now. We did Afterburn. We probably did other things. I don't remember. We had food somewhere in there. And then went back to the hotel to get ready for the actual Golden Tickets award ceremony. It is a a much nicer event for all the industry people to dress up very nicely. And that's what I did. I had a nice dress. I actually put on some makeup, and then as we were walking into the park, it decided to monsoon.
Oh no.
Absolute buckets. All
Well,
the have people in nice like suits and dresses, and then we're like hiding under one of the umbrellas by the security checkpoint. There were like 10 of us under one umbrella, made a
oh
beeline for the entrance
gosh.
gate where there were just a bunch of us, and they handed out ponchos. I'm so glad that I dressed up for this.
Uh, could
um,
not have picked any worse timing for that to have happened.
we had a feeling they were like, well, we knew that they were changing the site of the like cocktail hour and dinner because it was going to be outside, kind of near the carousel in that area. But as we were in Harmony Hall for lunch, we saw them start moving tables around and chairs in. We're like, oh, okay, that changed. So we knew weather was a possibility. We did not think it would be that much. So
Right.
it was a very, very good thing that they moved that venue. We had a very lovely dinner. It was delicious. Um, and then after that, like there was a cocktail hour in there too. It's one of the good things about golden tickets. Open bars everywhere. It's wonderful. Fantastic. Um, So then we went over to the theater for the ceremony, which was very nice. Epic Universe just did like a clean sweep of awards. I think they got 5 or 6 awards, as they
Wow.
should. Yeah, Phoenix won Best Wooden Coaster. Blah, blah, blah. And then, naturally, Fury won Best Steel Coaster again
What? No way. Who could
on,
have seen that coming?
on their home turf. We were surprised that they didn't already have the new thing at the entrance when we left the theater. Um, After the ceremony, we had ERT on a number of rides. I think Carolina Cyclone, Hurler, and of course Fury.
Well, yes, of course. I would hope they'd have ERT on Fury.
For that event, for ERT, they were running 3 trains.
What?
At one point, it was 3 of us on the train in the front row.
Oh my gosh.
And that was I think I got like 8 rides. There's more vibration like in the middle than in the front or the back, which was odd.
Huh.
So that started giving me a little bit of a headache, but
I wonder if that has something to do perhaps with wheel compounds or something, or could it just been ordered wheels? Who knows?
who knows? I don't know. But it was a great time. Got some good pictures of Fury in that whole plaza area. Sunday morning before we left, since we had some nice clothes and we had some good friends by the name of Coaster Studios who know how to use a camera, Mike and I took some engagement photos with them in front of Fury, of
Aww.
which John Mike has seen a preview of those.
Yeah, I have.
They turned out very cute, and I'm very excited, and it was a nice way to kind of close out the weekend. And then we hit another mountain coaster in West Virginia on the way home.
As you do.
It's a pretty new one. It's like Brush Creek or something like that.
Huh.
It was a good layout.
Well, regardless, I know that friend of the show, Mr. Gary from Coasting with Culture, would certainly be tremendously proud of you all for going and pursuing that coaster. So
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it was a fun little weekend.
that
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like it's so much fun. And I've heard nothing but tremendously awesome things about attending the Golden Tickets and the just absolute networking opportunity that that type of event can present. And if anyone is ever in the industry or wanting to get into the industry, and obviously, again, the Golden Tickets is nuanced to get into, of course. However, it is a tremendous opportunity for one's career if you are able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with IAPA, of course. IAPA is meant to be more of a trade show for the industry, for deals and such on attractions to be made. It's not necessarily an event geared toward the enthusiast. It's geared toward selling product. And again, another fantastic networking opportunity. And so for you all to have that opportunity, you and Mike to have that opportunity to be able to go to the Golden Tickets and be able to represent your all's employer and stuff, like that's a very unique thing. And and who knows what kind of doors that could potentially open for you all as a company, for continued projects and such.
Yeah. I know there's definitely some projects that we would love to kind of take on. Yeah, we definitely want to put some bugs in people's ears about things without, going too much into what our day job is. But
right, of course.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some more business through it. Looking forward to next year's Golden Tickets, which are going to be at Codaland.
Ooh.
We are already planning that one out for next year. And we definitely want to go to Morgan's Wonderland, which is in that same area. We'd love to go and visit that while we're over there.
That would be so cool. And I actually had the absolute pleasure of being able to listen to that episode. And forgive me, I can't recall the name of the park president that was on with you.
Richard.
Richard, yes. Like just hearing Richard's passion about the park that he is at and how he's navigated the industry and grown to being there at Morgan's. Like, it's just so cool to see people that are extremely passionate and that do care about the overall guest experience end up in these very unique job situations to where they could continue to foster that to
Hmm.
so many, even those that do have accessibility matters that they have to contend with on the daily basis. And being able to bring a smile to someone's face, it's just such a unique opportunity that everyone and anyone in the amusement space can do. And that's one of the pride and joys of this entire hobby and industry and everything, right? Like, you're able to put smiles on people's faces and create memories.
That's what it's all about.
It certainly is.
Well, speaking of putting smiles on faces, I'm going to shift gears a little bit towards you. Um,
Oh no.
no, not oh no. Um, I know you semi recently, within the past couple of years, started a new Instagram account to kind of showcase your travels, called Jungle Jikes, which I was honored to have done the logo design for while in
Yes.
the back seat of the car on our way home from a trip of some sort. Um, where from the front seat you give me this idea, and then from the back seat I turn my laptop around and I'm like, and I just like this. You're like, what? Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask you, like, how has that Instagram been going for you? Anything that you've learned on like a creative aspect for posting on that?
Yeah. So, just to give a little bit of a 50,000-foot view in terms of my background with social media and everything, um, about, gosh, coming up on 9 years ago now. That is insane to think about. But coming up on 9 years ago, I was a part of a previous YouTube channel that had grown very organically, and we had a lot of engagement, especially on our Instagram page, which we had grown to, I believe we hit, I think we got close to 20,000 followers on our Instagram.
Wow.
Uh, And at that point in time, of course, Instagram was defaulted for showcasing photos and hashtags, etc., things like that. The algorithm was very much tailored toward that because Instagram by nature was a photo sharing application. Through some decisions and choices that were made, not of my own devices, that channel came and gone. And on the other side of that, I decided to take a little more of a relaxed approach, I guess you could say, but still doing the things that I wanted to do, such as showcasing a little bit, showcasing travel outside the aspect of just the hobby of roller coasters. Because there's more to the world than just that. What?
What?
I
No.
know. Isn't that crazy? So anyway, as Allison already mentioned, I had this idea of starting this travel Instagram because I wanted to kind of get back into that space, and started a Instagram account called Jungle Jikes Travel Magic. And so on it, where I'm highlighting, local places to eat, I'm highlighting unique roadside attractions, I'm highlighting just different parks that I've gone to and visited. Uh, and so it's very much a relaxed approach, but also the thing that I've noticed in terms of engagement is the algorithm now is biased more toward short form video content versus photo content.
It really is.
And it's in my assessment, I personally think that's a crime and shame because that's not what Instagram was designed to be. Um, However, that's the way in which Meta has chosen to take the application. And so I've had some success with, still photo engagement and things like that. But all in all, at the end of the day, I don't really have any tremendous objectives with the account per se of like growing it exponentially and like intentionally trying to grow, 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 grow. I'm doing it just as kind of a space to be able to share my travels and share the things that I enjoy experiencing and seeing, and highlighting these local businesses. Yeah, even if it's just a couple of people that see it, it's still a couple of people that may, hopefully will remember that local business and visit it. Because ultimately, in our present economic climate, it's more paramount now than ever to support small family owned local businesses.
Absolutely.
And, of course, that's a little bit of a segue toward a small family owned business that has slowly morphed into a bigger family owned business known as Holiday World.
Well, that was a heck of a segue right there. I don't know how long
Yeah.
you were planning that one in your head while you were talking.
It just kind of, whoop, it just kind of happened. So we'll roll with it.
I'm gonna let you talk about your history with Holiday World. You have a lot more of a history with the park than I do. You've definitely gotten a lot more experience there. Um, you've really gotten to see the park grow.
Yeah. um, so my very first visit to Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana, was in 2001. I was 9 years old. There are pictures of a very young me um, in a Rocket Power orange t-shirt with orange basketball shorts and glasses on, standing in front of the Santa Claus there at Holiday World.
Wait, do you have that picture? Can I use that?
Yes, if I could find it, I will get that to you. I know I have it here in my house somewhere. I'll just have to get that to you. It's such a bad picture, but it's honestly hilarious how bad it is.
But this is the best ones.
Oh yeah. So, and believe it or not, Holiday World, apart from SeaWorld Ohio and Dollywood, was the only other new park I had went to besides Paramount's Kings Island. So from the time that I was 3 or 4, my family and I, we went to Kings Island every single summer. Like, that's where I wanted to go. That's where we went. And so going to Holiday World was kind of a new opportunity. It kind of opened a new piece of my mind up. And during that first visit in 2001, uh, there was no back section of the park. The entirety of Thanksgiving was a cornfield. Voyage was air. There was nothing there whatsoever. And so all you had was just the Christmas section, 4th of July, and then Halloween, and that's it. And then, of course, you did already have Splash and Safari, because Splash and Safari, I believe, opened in 1993. And so, in terms of me as a kid, though, I didn't want to go to the water park, and I was terrified of water at that time too, so it worked out.
I feel that.
um, so I do remember seeing Raven and Legend, of course, because Raven at that point in time was only 6 years old, and then Legend, of course, had just been built. Um, However, I don't recall riding either of those. Um, Knowing me, I was probably too scared. But I do distinctly recall riding Banshee. Yes, Holiday World did have a ride called Banshee. It is now where the present Hallow Swings are,
Hmm.
and it was a Chance Falling Star. And so I vividly remember riding that, and it faced toward the Splash and Safari section of the park. So you didn't see the main part of the park, like Christmas and 4th of July sections, but you saw just a bunch of fields and a little bit of a water park with Splash and Safari, and that's it. That's all you saw from the top of that thing. And I remember riding that multiple times. um, and so, I got to experience that, and then of course the park. continue to grow and change from there. As did I.
Yeah, I think my first visit to Holiday World, I want to say was Hollywood Nights like 2021.
Oh yes, Hollywood Nights.
Or no. I did go once before that, at least. 2019 I went. I don't remember if I went anytime before that.
Really?
Huh. Um and I do remember there was a storm rolling in, and I was on the Voyage Lift Hill, and I saw lightning getting very close, and I'm pretty sure we were on the last train that was sent out before they shut down the rides. And then we were driving back to Louisville, actually. We were staying in Louisville, and that storm cloud basically sat on top of us for the entire drive home.
Yeah,
It was,
that
it
can
was
happen
really uncomfortable.
sometimes.
Yeah, since then I've gone to a few different Hollywood Nights. I'm not, now I live a lot closer to the park too. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have as much experience. I'll go there a couple times a year, but
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking and talking about Hollywood Nights, for years I've had the absolute just unique opportunities to be able to go. I have gone to every one of them since 2017.
oh wow.
And so at each year, like after the first three or four, and after 2020, I've just said, I don't need to go this year, and I've intentionally have tried to skip it, and opportunities for me to go just keep falling in my lap. So much so that people are like, if they've said to me, if you're not there, I don't feel like it's a true Hollywood night. So I'm like, okay, hold up, like this event is not about me. Let's knock that down right now. But no, it's been a pleasant opportunity, well, pleasant pleasure to be able to attend
Pleasant.
Hollywood Nights and be able to see friends that are in this roller coaster hobby and park hobby from all over the country and in some cases the world, and be able to ride some of the most renowned wooden coasters on this earth. Um, and it's kind of crazy, just thinking about the history of Holiday World, just the three lightning strikes of wooden coasters that they have in their collection, because any single one of them in their own right at a park would be the standout star attraction.
Mm-hmm.
It would. And then you have Holiday World though that has three of the best walking distance from each other.
And one that should be winning the Golden Ticket's best wooden coaster every year.
There it is. I agree, and I know for a fact that the very awesome and good folks at Holiday World will concur with that statement as well.
I mean, it won Coaster Madness one of the years recently too, I believe.
It did, and Voyage also does have the pedigree of being a winner for the best wooden coaster from the Golden Tickets, ironically enough. Isn't that something?
It should be the winner. It is. It's not my number one. It is definitely up there for me though.
It's still my number one. Sorry, world.
And that's why you're on this podcast with me. It's also Mike's number one.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And multiple other people I know, it's their number one, if not still high. I think Matt has it as number one as well.
I believe he does. I
don't know. We all stand a lot of V coasters with a Voyage Voltron Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
I think that's the trick. Name your coaster something that starts with a V, and it'll be phenomenal.
I mean, there's a track record there.
Yeah. Unless your name is Viking at Energylandia, then you can just please disappear. But
correct me. correct me if I'm wrong. That's the spinning wild mouse with over the shoulder restraints, right?
Correct.
Oh, yep, that's a
It's
ride experience
terrible.
of all time.
It is terrible.
Oh man. So I guess another thing to highlight with Holiday World too is, when we're thinking about the experience, because yes, you and I especially would want to talk about the coasters and talk about those attractions. Um, but something else that you know can get overlooked though is just the overall experience in park.
Hmm.
Thinking about the food, thinking about the beverage offerings, thinking about the cleanliness of the pathways and how the park is presented. And again, ironically, with the Golden Ticket Awards, Holiday World has a tremendous pedigree of winning the cleanest park in the world multiple times. They have won that. They have not won that recently, but they have won that for years and years and years and years. And I think, though, even still to this day, that speaks to the care that that team puts into that property. And, of course, we're seeing them expand a little bit by entering the hospitality space with Santa's Cottages just down the road from Holiday World there in Santa Claus. And if anything, I think it's a testament to how good the park truly is, but also with where they could go.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see what they end up doing in the future.
Oh, I
There's
completely agree with you.
a lot of potential.
Oh, there is so much potential. And of course, we already know that they're going to be receiving a CapEx investment in 2027. We don't, nobody knows what it is, right? But we know it's coming because they have the area. If you're listening and you're familiar with the park, I'm referring to the area that was previously occupied by the River Rapids attraction. There at the very back section of the Fourth of July area, and also encompassing the hillside as you walked down toward Thanksgiving and Voyage. That whole entire area is completely being cleared. I was last there, oh gosh, because I just popped over on a because the park was open this year because for the first time ever, the park, thinking about events and stuff, which I know we'll get to here in a minute, that they have there at the park. We're doing a summer wine down festival, and it was kind of their take on a food and wine festival. And I was there on a Thursday night. It was the first time that they had ever been open, and there was not very many people there. I mean, the weather was perfect though, and tickets were only $25, and that $25 also got you a bite from the summer wine down food festival.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so, I know that that's one thing that they're slowly trying to improve too, is their food offerings, and it is showing. For example, the little bite that I had was turkey, turkey and stuffing meatballs,
Ooh.
and it was so good. It was so good. Um, but here's what's even crazier: whenever the receipt printed from the register and the person gave me the receipt, I took a look at it, and the going price on that bite. I mean, again, it was in a little bowl, probably about 5-6 ounces or so. But I mean, it was full. It was completely full. They didn't skip on the portions. But the going price on that, if you didn't have the tasting card or that ticket that got you a free bite, was $10. um, Meanwhile, there at the Plymouth Rock Cafe, which is where I got this from in Park, you can get basically a full course meal for like $4 more, I think. Of just and so and of course, every park has to have things priced a certain way in order to to be net positive on it. They can't sell things at a loss, of course. but still the pricing, I was just like, I don't know if I would just willingly pay $10 for this.
I will say it's a smart move on their part to include one of them with the ticket price. Um,
Oh, 1000%.
because if they can pull you in at least for that free one and get your attention, you might be more willing to do a lot more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you think about it, the tasting card uh, was, oh dear, forgive me. I'm trying to recall the correct price. I want to say it was in the ballpark between 25 and $37. It was in that range.
That's
But
about normal for tasting pass like that.
right. But I believe that got you 7 or 8 different options, like different offerings. So
Okay.
you got a pretty good bang for your buck. And also, of course, Holiday World started the event last year of Friday Night Live, I believe it was called, and they very famously had 50% off all of their alcoholic offerings. I
I
am
know
very
you.
happy
I
to
know you partook
report.
in that.
Sorry.
I know you partook in that.
So there's this thing called the Berry Scary Sangria.
Good deal.
um, and it was up at the Witch's Brew, which is the bar in the Halloween section of the park. It's right next to Legend. So if Legend gives you a headache, you can come right off and get a cure.
Or an even bigger headache.
Or a bigger headache, you take your pick.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, dealer's literally dealer's choice. But the Berry Scary Sangria that I had was very tasty. And, just for something that they make in park, you trust me, you got your bang for your buck if you catch my drift. Holiday World was not skimping.
Now, when you were there, did they have the corn maze open yet?
So no, the corn maze was still actively being grown.
Fair.
so the corn maze was not open at that time, and of course this year they have decided to integrate dinosaurs into the corn maze.
Hmm.
And
Why
the
not?
exactly. And I believe the design this year is a play off of Jurassic Park in terms of the shape of the logo design.
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah, and so it's a very unique theme to say the least. But again, that just kind of goes back to the perk of being an independent park, where you can kind of do whatever type of theme, whatever type of thing you want to do. If you have the resources to do it, you can do it. There isn't a corporate entity to answer to that could say, well, I don't think so. They can kind of, they have more creative liberty to do what they want. And I think, going forward, we're going to continue to see that come out of Holiday World. I mean, the biggest example is Good Gravy.
Exclamation.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Beat you to it.
uh, we all saw the very good, very well done theming that they did for that ride all on their own. And, they were able to transform that plot that was previously occupied by um, Pilgrim's Plunge or Giraffica, which was a Intamin log flume that had an elevator lift. And the most just bizarre thing that I recall from that is going up the elevator. Of course, you awkwardly tilted because it was a kind of a dual elevator setup that we've seen on, for example, if you have experienced Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens, Tampa, then you are very familiar with that same type of elevator setup. But being at the top of that lift and getting ready to drop, and you're just like slightly above the lift hill voyage, and you're just like, oh, like we're really high up.
Oh, that's just a little tall.
It was no slouch. Like it was really really tall, especially on that plot of land because that plot is very flat. Um, but it's good to see that they have taken that structure, that station, that huge station structure that they had for that attraction, Obviously, Pilgrim's Plunge or Jurassica in its later years is no longer there at the park. But it's just really good to see that they took that vast station and they were able to throw a bunch of just really good theming to convey a story with good gravy. And yes, it's a simple Vekoma family boomerang, but it has a very unique theme that the public just adores. Like they adore the theme, and the fact that the queue has scents from like Thanksgiving home cooked meals in it throughout. Like if you're walking through a certain section of the queue, I believe it's right as you walk in, you can smell pumpkin spice and cinnamon and just those scents that just remind you of that home cooked meal at grandma's house on Thanksgiving Day. And yeah, it's a small little detail, but it goes such a long way.
Yeah, the care and like just attention to detail, like you said, that they put in that theme just truly puts it over the top.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I
and
think one of the funniest. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like the merchandise that they've put out from that ride is just adorable. Like
Yes,
you can get little chicken timers.
yes. The fact that
And
they yeah, the fact that they created the little chicken timer to play off of the physical chicken timer they have out there in front of the ride is hilarious.
like seriously, just some of the cutest merchandise that I've seen for a ride.
Oh yeah, and it's I mean you like even if you go to a park somewhere else in the country, I can guarantee you will more than likely see a good gravy T-shirt.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
And again, this is a small Vekoma family boomerang attraction.
It's almost got like its own little cult following.
It really does. It really, really does.
Do we want to start going through some of the listener comments and things like that?
Yeah, we could certainly do that. Or if there's anything else that you want to highlight in regards to Holiday World or the history of the park or anything like that.
I mean, I can't really speak too much to the history. That's more of a you thing.
Well, before we transition into that, I guess one thing I will highlight as it relates to the history is in this little region of the country, we're in a very unique spot as it relates to parks and experiences because we have Six Flags Entertainment Corporation with uh, Kings Island, and then you have Hershend with Kentucky Kingdom now here in the Louisville market, and then of course you have the independent uh, company there at Holiday World. And of course, over the years, as we've already highlighted, Holiday World has tremendously grown. We've seen so many unique attractions with, Raven and Legend, and then of course Voyage, and then Wildebeest and Mammoth there in the water park at Splash and Safari, and the new era of water attractions that those attractions ushered in. And then of course we have Thunderbird, which was the first launched wing coaster, um, and which rides extremely smooth still to this day. I can't think of another attraction that I'm hinting at when I say that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Me neither.
Huh.
It's 10 years old and still really smooth. But Holiday World's success really came at the detriment of Kentucky Kingdom throughout the 90s and late 2000s with then Legacy Six Flags. And when you looked at the two parks, overall it came down to the guest experience. And the thing that you always know about this industry is that guests vote with their feet. They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as Kentucky Kingdom continued to go down, Holiday World continued to grow and flourish, especially pulling it, so much of the audience in the Louisville market. And that's what I think really catapulted Holiday World into the place that it has become today and the place it will continue to become tomorrow. And as you already highlighted, earlier on, Allison, trying to see where Holiday World is going to go, especially again as they're entering the hospitality space as well. It's going to be very intriguing to see what happens with Holiday World,
For sure.
and it makes me excited for the future because there's a team there that cares about the product that they have. They care about every aspect of the experience. They care about the fact that every ride is staffed and opened because that plays into the guest experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I'm excited for the next few years for this park.
Yeah, for sure. I also kind of love I know you mentioned kind of like the local market. Um, Holiday World, Kentucky Kingdom, and Kings Island kind of becoming like a trifecta of a weekend for coaster enthusiasts. Like
Well,
three
oh yeah,
very different parks, but three very good parks all
yes,
close together.
oh yeah. And I mean, I know that this is we're focused on Holiday World, of course, but we can't talk about the region and not highlight what's new at Kentucky Kingdom very briefly for this year with Discovery Meadow and just the level of care and detail that they have put into that section alone. That Herschel has put into that section of the park alone and truly rejuvenated it and way better utilized the space that is in that section of the park. If that's what Hershey can do with just a small section of the property, then just as with Holiday World, I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next coming years with Kentucky Kingdom
Yeah.
because it's going to be reshaped and morphed into a property that none of us are probably going to recognize in a few years.
Yeah. I've not gotten the opportunity to go down there this year. I know it's kind of vaguely in our plans. I would like to get down there and see the new area, but hopefully soon.
Well, you will be happy to know that pumpkins at Kentucky Kingdom is a thing, as is Christmas at Kentucky Kingdom.
Yep. Plus, we got to go visit you.
Uh, who? Man, me? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think there could be some healthy competition between Kentucky Kingdom and Holiday World.
oh, I completely agree. And I think that that's going to be the thing that's going to shape this region over the next few years because, I mean, Kings Island is kind of on its own because it is a big, sizable regional park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have the
However,
money behind it for sure.
yes, they have the money. It's going to be interesting though to see the scale of investment shake out over the next few years
Mm-hmm.
because you have Six Flags with it's no secret that Six Flags was having some money woes uh, as of late, but then you have Herschend, of course it's a privately held company, so we assume they're doing well because they did just purchase the Palace Parks. And then, of course, you have the independent park of Holiday World. And so you have Kentucky Kingdom now that also has some money behind it. And then, of course, you got Kings Island, which, I mean, Kings Island basically prints money for the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
then you have, this independent park that is going to try to do its own thing. And so, again, as I said earlier, it's going to be interesting to watch this little trifecta of parks, this little trifecta of a region, of what these three places do to continue to attract guests.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it.
Oh, ditto. I'm very excited.
With both of us living within that trifecta of parks.
Yes.
Good time. We are in for a treat, I think.
I agree. I agree. So I believe you said you want to go on ahead and transition into some listener questions and comments regarding Holiday World and such.
Oh, people had some things to say.
Oh, did they really?
There is a lot of love for Holiday World. We can certainly say that. So I posted on our Instagram and I kind of asked our listeners two kind of vague questions to get people talking. In terms of Holiday World, what creative aspects of the park are most memorable to you? And what holiday theme is best represented and what would you like to see more of? Um,
Ooh.
So many of the comments were geared toward that. First one from Legendary Voyage just said, "My home," and he had the hearts in the 3 Voyage colors.
Oh, I mean, yes, I agree. Voyage is basically my home. Like a little known unknown fact about me is there are two wooden coaster moments on this planet that I love above any other true like full on coaster experience. The first one is going to be actually with Voyage, and it's being in the back row, and after you do the sequence of the mid course, and if you haven't ridden Voyage, skip the next minute or so. But
Voyage, I'm not sure you should be listening to this episode, Jen.
well, you know, we all have ways in which we can improve, and the way we can improve is by experiencing Voyage.
Agreed.
But so, one of my favorite spots to be on a coaster is in the back row of Voyage, and the sequence of dropping off the mid course, doing the 1, 2, 3 drops, and then just blasting out of that last tunnel into that airtime hill. Like that sequencing is just one of my favorite moments on any coaster in the world in that back row. The other one is a guilty pleasure of just going full speed sideways into a helix on Beast. But you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Voyage, one of my favorite spots is that triple down after the mid course.
Oh yes.
Especially on nights when the mid course is not mid coursing.
the mid course says, yes, more speed, please.
And then the train just falls out from under you, which is wonderful.
Yeah, the train just says, all right, I'll see you later.
All right, I'm out. All right. Said Thanksgiving is by far the best themed land. Halloween has so much potential. The ringing of Legends Bell is my favorite thing in the whole park. They could up the spooky factor 100 times from where it is now. At least more Halloween merch to start would be nice. And then continuing on to say, would also love to see a Valentine's Day section with a tunnel of love and a love roller coaster. Maybe they can buy Dragon Mountain and call it Cupid's Arrow. Whatever.
Oh man, it's going back to what we were saying earlier with the fact that Holiday World is an independent park. The theming is good and it's cute, right? But there's always room for improvement, and the theming in the Halloween section is very cute, but it's also kind of generic. I mean, yes, you have Raven, which is themed to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven poem, and then of course you have Legend, which is themed to the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But then you have something like Hallis Wings, and it's just like cutesy little animated Halloween characters that you can see on virtually anything.
I mean, I get this is a family park.
Yes,
They're not and that's spooky factor, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was getting ready to move into. Saying was, at the end of the day, this is a family park. We're not going to see The Conjuring sponsored by Snickers at Holiday World.
Sponsored by, that's great.
Sorry, presented by. Let me use the correct word.
Same thing.
But yeah, I mean, it would be really, really cool to see the holiday theming continue to improve. And I think going on into the future, I could totally see Holiday World revisiting their existing theming and doing the thinking emoji of how can we dial this up? How can we improve it? How can we make it a little bit better?
The comment about Legend and the Bell, it reminded me of when we did the themed cabin crawl at Lake Compounce.
Yes.
And then Were you in our cabin? I don't even remember.
I was there.
Oh, no, I know you were there. Were you part of the legend cabin? I don't
I
recall.
I think so. I know I was wearing a questionable T-shirt as my costume.
I don't remember that, but also I don't remember a lot from that night. Let's be honest. Um,
What Jello
yes,
shots?
listen. Um, but for that one, other people in our cabin chose to dress up as literally like the headless horseman and things like that. I dressed up actually as the Legend roller coaster, where I made a skirt out of Legend's flag colors and had a brown dress that was the track or like the wooden track, and then I had a chain necklace that was the lift hill, and I just embodied Legend because that's just how I am as a person.
You did. You did it amazingly. Although I will say the my favorite my favorite duo of the Legend Cabin was Evermore.
No, that was the Raven cabin.
Oh yeah, that was the Raven Cabin. You're right. My
Yeah,
apologies.
where there's a Raven and Edgar Allan Poe, and our friend Tim is the Raven, just yelling out "Ka!"
Yep.
Um, absolutely incredible moment for that. But we digress. Um, I do love calling it Cupid Zero. That'd be perfect.
That would be perfect. Uh, the one that got away from me.
Did you never got on Dragon Mountain?
Unfortunately, no.
No.
I never got to make it to Marine Land.
Oh,
Each opportunity that was presented to me to be able to go, just life wise, did not work. So
oh,
that one stings a little bit. But
yeah.
because for those of you that are listening and don't know, I am a bit of a aerodynamics fanboy. So yeah, that one stings.
Well, like he said, maybe Hollywood will buy Dragon Mountain. I'm not sure how that would quite fit into the terrain there, but
you, you know, there are just certain things that you can outright say are a fever dream in this world, and that is one of them.
if only.
If only. It won't happen, but if only.
If all right, Alex Bauer said Indiana's pride and joy, and then he posed a question, said, "What is one improvement, i.e., attraction, pathway, ambiance, food, etc., you would make to each section to polish off each existing holiday?"
Ooh,
I
that is a
genuinely
very good
don't
question.
even know.
Huh.
I would love to
Well,
see. I just know I would love to see more in the Fourth of July section, because all I can
yes.
think about is that they have the drop tower, the firecracker, fun tower, fun ride, but I can't
Yes.
really think of much else in there.
Yeah, um they have the drop tower as you said, and they also have the bumper cars, which are extremely fast and very hilarious. Um and then of course they do have the blue ice cream that is there, and then they have a carousel. They have a carousel that's right there as well. And then they have a small little canoe ride
Oh yeah,
for
the Tippy Canoe.
Tip Canoe. Yep, Tip Canoe, and then they have a Mexican restaurant themed to the Alamo. Don't forget the Alamo. Remember
I
the Alamo.
I forgot about that restaurant.
Um, see what you did there. And then of course they do have a flying scooters, and then a kind of a just standard roundup ride, and that's kind of it. But as we were talking earlier, that's one of the original sections of the park too. So it it does need some polishing. It does need some modernizing, but it does. The question comes of, well, there's not much land there. Are we really going to see an investment in that part of the park in the
Right.
future? Um, so I would say, hmm, I think one thing that I would do to polish off each section, which it is something that Holiday World is already continuing to focus on and working to improve, but continuing to improve their food, and their food offerings, and experimenting a little bit more with some different types of things. Um, like for example, I can think of one thing that they can add to the menu right now that would be a tremendously awesome fit there in the Thanksgiving section. And if Allison, you recall this, it's called a burger in Ireland, but there at the Dublin airport, I got the Thanksgiving
Oh yeah.
burger, which was a chicken sandwich, and it had cranberry sauce and stuffing, and I believe some gravy on it.
I think I had the same thing, if I remember right.
You may have, I can't recall, uh, but man, if they could have something like that as a chicken sandwich, or even if they just rolled out, for example, like a specialty chicken sandwich, for each section of the park, that would be really cool. Just being able to embrace not only a higher quality of food, but also unique offerings. I think that are tailored to each section of the park, so that way it doesn't feel like you're eating the same thing in every single food stand. I think that would go a tremendously long way. I mean, thinking back to Kings Island, for example, they were kind of the ones that jettisoned this trend of bringing in bringing in a chef that knew what they were doing and upping the quality of their food. And Kings Island, and in turn, now Six Flags, is reaping the benefit of that because people are like, well, if the food quality is this good here in park, then why should I leave and go anywhere else? And so I think Holiday World can benefit tremendously from that. And again, we are already seeing the fruits of that, and we're seeing food improvements and beverage improvements there in park. I would love to see that continue.
Yeah, my thought is like I would love to see kind of like a little bakery or something maybe in the Halloween section that kind of focuses on like just fall treats, like lots of cinnamon, lots of pumpkin, um, and even like taking kind of a note from Halloween Horror Nights with some of the food offerings that they have that are really themed to the spooky season.
Oh yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Is there anything else that you could think of, perhaps, to polish
uh,
off one of the existing holiday sections?
can we make the hill to Thunderbird less egregious? I don't think that's an option particularly, but can we put in some kind of like Thanksgiving themed funicular? To
Listen. Oh man, we could call it the Gobbler Getaway. Oh wait, we already got that.
Let's see how to improve. Make that gobbler getaway sound of the guns just everywhere.
Oh gosh, in the Thanksgiving section.
You just hear random little turkeys everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Uh, I think one thing. I mean, of course, Alex is wanting us to highlight, an attraction pathway ambiance. I think one thing that they could continue to do, and this kind of segues a little bit with thinking about events and such that the park now offers, but just the Friday Night Live events, those style of affairs, where
Mhm.
the park kind of lets their metaphorical hair down a little bit, of having live music and being open late and having 50% off select, alcoholic beverages and cocktails for mom and dad to have a good evening and while kids are on the rides. It's I think it's tremendously awesome to see Holiday World kind of let their hair down a little bit because the park wasn't stuck up on its own laurels by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not asserting that whatsoever, but it did have an air about it of just being very, 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 very overtly family friendly.
Very.
Um, espe- yeah, very, especially prior to the introduction of some alcoholic beverage offerings there in park. And seeing them roll out this event, as simple as it may seem in the grand scheme of things, it's been a huge success for them. Um, and I hope that they continue to expand on that type of concept for event for the park. Of having it be controlled, yes, and having it be in a subdued manner, yes, because obviously, no park or business wants to forsake their reputation, right? Because the reputation is paramount, especially in the amusement space. But it's been really, really cool to see them kind of be relaxed a little bit and have, different things to have offer, unique experiences. And I hope that they continue to expand on that because I think it's going to continue to be rather very, very, very beneficial for them. Very.
Very, very, very. Um, yeah, they definitely like started at least. I'm glad they did like a slow rollout, kind of testing the waters with it last year. But I mean,
Yeah.
clearly it was successful enough to bring it back this year.
Yes, it was.
And we have a lot of friends in our group planning to go to it this year.
Yeah, we sure do.
All right. Braden kind of hits on a couple things that we've already mentioned. He said, I absolutely love the Halloween section. It's so underappreciated. I do think they should flesh out the 4th of July section.
Yep.
I feel like that's a common thought for the theming. Um, what do you think of the new? I know they like redid all the signage kind of going into the new, or not the new, um, new signage going into the different themed lands for this year. I know you've been there and seen it in person. How do they look?
So I have thoughts. um, it given the initial renderings, there was a lot to be left. There was a lot left to be desired.
Yeah,
um, and in person, especially, I feel like they showcase really well at night. I mean, yes, they are illuminated now. Each entrance portal is illuminated at night. I think they present best at nighttime. Um, Yet there are certain design elements that are on the portals that you're just kind of like,
yeah.
what?
I don't know if it quite captured the vibes correctly.
Yes,
Me,
yeah,
I work in graphic design. I have a strong affinity for good signage. Um, Good signage can make or break a lot of things in life, not just in theme parks. Um,
yes.
and yeah, I saw the pictures and I'm like, you tried, you really tried. And I kind of feel bad saying that about Holiday World, but I don't know. It's missing just some oomph behind it or something. I don't know what. It's missing something.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, now that they have been installed and everything too, they can always retroactively add elements to the signs, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Uh, again, I feel like they present best at nighttime, and for a park that's only mostly open during the day, it certainly is a bit of a miss.
Yeah.
Um,
This feels like Epic Universe problems right now. How it's
yeah,
like designed for the nighttime that's not open during the night as much as it should be.
yeah. I I mean, again, I completely understand the reasoning of modernizing those and bringing them kind of into the 21st century and giving them a breath of fresh air. There was a nostalgic charm, though, to the original entrance portals. And I think, Allison, when you said that there was just something missing with the modernized portals, I think that's kind of part of what you may be alluding to is just that charm and the warmth that those original arches or excuse me original portals had. The modern ones, don't fully encompass that charm.
Yeah.
Um, but again, now that they're installed, now that they're in park, they can certainly go back and retroactively add elements to those, if they so choose. And hopefully they will.
Yeah, that's like my only not super positive thing about the park is those signs.
Yeah, yeah.
And the parking lot can be a pain in the butt, but that's different.
Well, the the parking lot, especially the main lot, there used to be a tram that always ran through the lot. And so they actually had in that original parking lot there with Raven and the actual entranceway to the park, they used to have three different tram stops along that path,
Oh
well,
wow.
along that parking lot. And I mean, back in 2001 at least, I vividly recall them running multiple trams just in that parking lot alone. Um, I don't, I can't recall if the Legend lot had been built yet. I just know that the main parking lot did exist then because I vividly remember standing at the little pole for the stop for the tram to take the tram up to the entranceway.
Hmm. All right. Next on the list is from our buddy Ethan. Said one of my favorite parks. I love the Thanksgiving section the most because it is home to the goat, and also Good Gravy has really good theming. Yes,
Yes,
all correct.
yes. The only thing I would correct is Ethan, you forgot good gravy exclamation point.
That's true. Yes, there was no explanation. I copy and pasted that from my Instagram messages.
But yes, the Thanksgiving section is certainly a very good section. And of course, if we're thinking about the layout of Holiday World, that is the only section, unless some changes are made to the 4th of July area, where the park can really, really expand.
Yeah,
Um, and of course, that's also where they have the launching area for their drone show that they have in park too. So, there's just a lot of land there for the people of Holiday World to be able to play with.
yeah. Oh, there's a cat. Hi, Nemi. Nemi makes an appearance. Um. All right. Next up.
Has to make up for Jen's dog this week.
Yeah, yeah. No Ahsoka this
No
week.
Ahsoka, yes.
But
Oh
we'll get.
no, Ahsoka. Sorry, Jen. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your dog's name. Forgive me.
Um. Good old Soaker. Chris Leonard left a nice, lengthy comment. Said, first time visit this year during Hollywood Nights and my first enthusiast event. Really enjoyed how much care the staff puts into every aspect of the park. Park was super clean and had some amazing food. Water Park ERT was in freezing cold weather. Voyage and Night Trimless was an experience I'll never forget. He said, I think this park should get a Vekoma family invert or a thrilling one. Would fit perfectly to do a theme based on Santa's sleigh and reindeer or maybe a motorbike coaster.
Ooh,
That could be.
ooh, yeah. And I've from the whispers that I have heard, the park has thought very highly of Vekoma ever since the installation of Good Gravy.
Exclamation point.
So exclamation point. So hopefully this will continue to manifest into a very fruitful relationship with Vekoma. Perhaps another Vekoma attraction or two or three or 10 can make an appearance there at Holiday World. So, I've just heard that they were very impressed with Vekoma. That's so. Hopefully that relationship will continue to manifest.
Yeah,
And
after going on like Fiona Force, I would love to see something like that there. I have no clue what to theme it to necessarily, but man, I feel like that would be a good like middle ground almost between the Wood Coasters and Thunderbird.
yeah, it. they don't have any type of of inverted coaster there. And technically speaking, right now, the only park in the area that has any type of inverted type of coaster is Kings Island. Kentucky Kingdom
Yeah.
does not have one at this time. With T3 being removed, it can stay removed.
I thought you
Um,
were going to say something different, like rest in peace.
no, well, it's in a retirement home, just in a different part of the world. Um, but nevertheless, um, it would be a very unique concept for them to have. It's very unfortunate that they couldn't have gotten a two coaster package like with Fiona Force and the gosh, I can't remember the name of the family boomerang there in Emerald.
Quest.
Quest, yes, thank
Or
you.
Queso, as the logo looks like.
Yeah, speaking of graphic design.
Yeah.
um, but it's a shame that they weren't able to do a 2-for-1 type of setup like with Fiona Force and Quest at Emerald Park because man, that would have been a tremendous addition. And could you imagine having the theming of Good Gravy and then having a fly-through element there in the station above, just like with Quest? Like, man, that would have been awesome.
That would have been one extreme kitchen, but
Well, it would be an extreme kitchen, but you could theme it to something crazy happening in the garage, and well, bam, there's your coaster flying through the garage.
it all starts with someone deep frying a turkey and an explosion that occurs from that, and it launches you out.
And we'll call it Gobbler Getaway.
Not the turkey! Exclamation point.
Not the turkey! Exclamation point! I am the turkey. The ride. Oh man.
Good gravy too. Electric Boogaloo!
Ooh, now that's a coaster name I could get behind.
Exclamation point.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
and
can't forget that.
and going back to what Chris said, I know that I've mentioned it, and so again, if you're listening, forgive me for the repetition, but the staff of this park care 110% of the time, and that goes back to just how everything filters down. If your people up top of any business, if the people at the top of the business truly care, that's going to filter down into every layer of your staff. And that, has manifested in the tremendous customer service that you see at Holiday World. And I hope that that is one cornerstone of the guest experience that they never, ever, 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 no matter how big, small that park goes in the future, I hope that is one cornerstone that they never forsake.
Yeah. And like another thing I think of for guest experience is the free drinks and free sunscreen.
Yes. And to add to that, you have the worry-free weather guarantee now.
Oh yeah, they activate that so often too.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's a really cool thing that they do.
yeah, and so for those of you that if you are listening and you're not familiar with that policy at Holiday World, essentially what happens is if inclement weather rolls into the area and park attractions are shut down for, I believe the target time is 90 minutes consecutive. Uh, it may not be consecutive. I'm sure somebody may chime into you, Allison, later on with the correct interval, but it's a certain set interval of time that if the attractions are down, they will automatically activate that every time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the last two Hollywood nights that I have attended, they have had to activate that weather guarantee. And if you have, so long as you have your Hollywood Nights badge with you, you can go to guest services and get your day ticket for free and go back into the park.
Yep.
And so, again, going back to that commitment on experience, and it's something that if you're a a corporation, for example, you're looking at that and you're like, well, we're going to lose gate revenue on this. We're giving away our gate admission. But Holiday World views it in a different way of if they offer you that free ticket, you're going to be more inclined to come back to the park and spend money on the things that actually make revenue for them, such
Mm-hmm.
as the awesome chicken timers, such as the awesome good gravy T-shirts, such as uh, the tremendous, the food offerings that they do have, such as the summer wind down food pass. You know, so it's just a difference in philosophy of running a business, and again, kind of beating a dead horse here. It's what sets Holiday World apart.
Yep, I agree. And also, shout out to just Hollywood Nights as an event in general.
Yes, yes,
Hollywood Nights feels like a family reunion for me,
same.
of just all of our friends getting together, sure, riding coasters, but mostly just hanging out, having a good time, and water PRT.
Yes, yes, and the fact that Holiday World still hosts this event, you know, uh, is huge because the park doesn't have to, right? Like, at the end of the day, they're I'm sure they're making some kind of revenue on it, right? But it's a type of event that is becoming less and less common. And
Yeah.
the fact that Holiday World is determined to continue to host it, to continue to innovate with it, to continue to expand on the offerings with it, it's man, it just goes a long way. Now, one thing, this is going to date me a little bit, but one aspect of Hollywood Nights that used to exist, and Allison, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, you may be, but there used to be a water cup challenge on Legend.
I think I've heard about that.
Yes. uh, and so, for if you don't know, Holiday World did used to host a water cup challenge where teams of event attendees would form, and you would sign up, and then you would get onto Legend, but you would be given cups of water, and your whole objective was to keep as much water in this cup while riding Legend as possible, and then whichever team cumulative came back into the station had the most water still won. Man, I missed that because it was pandemonium.
No, it was Legend.
Dairy.
Jesus. All right. Next comment on our list is from Cedar Kev. So I don't know how they do it, but somehow, even though they have drastically different themed areas, they all seem to blend together so well. For me, walking from one area to another feels like a natural transition.
Yeah, I agree with Kev on that. Um, it's not necessarily a hard, just straight like cold cut transition to a different land where it's so abrupt that it's jarring. It everything does feel like it flows together, and yeah, there's a sizable area between the entrance portal of Thanksgiving under Voyage and coming down the hillside from Fourth of July or the Halloween section, where it's kind of a no man's land at this time. But it's something that could be that whole area. I'm sure is going to be completely revitalized for 2027.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of what is that attraction going to be themed to. But yes, the transitions between each of the lands does feel very natural. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel jarring or abrupt. Each one is very nicely done. And of course, they're the on the top of the hillside with the original sections, you do have the portals that kind of help break everything up nicely too.
I had a thought in my head and it disappeared.
Give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Um, it kind of like fits just life in general in a weird way. This that sounded very philosophical. It's really not. Um, just how like a lot of holidays kind of tend to blend together more now. Um, people. I'm like one of those people who will put up a Christmas tree on November 1st and not think anything of it because I love combining like the Thanksgiving themes of fall with like the Christmas lights and kind of blending those together. And I don't
That
like the abrupt change of holiday seasons.
Yeah, and I recall Kelly saying something very similar to that last week. Um, where she had talked about putting up, Halloween decorations like September 1, like let's go,
Right.
um, but no, there is something to be said about that. Of you have these huge occasions, namely holidays, and you're able to look forward to each one, and it's just nice to have that bout of positivity in your own space too, of being able to look forward to each one because each one offers something unique. And there's not only is it unique, but there's also some repetition in that, and there's comfort in that repetition too. So,
Sorry, I got distracted. The cat's trying to climb the window right now.
oh boy.
Yes, I'm talking to you or about you.
Nimmy.
It's probably a
Did
bug
you?
out.
Probably.
Last comment we got is from Stephen Eubanks. Said Thanksgiving easily the holiday best represented. Would love to see if they could add a coaster in 4th of July 2027 project, maybe? Question mark.
Interesting.
I will be very curious to see what the next major coaster theme will be. I'm sure nobody
Yes.
expected Good Gravy, and then they just like drop that on the table.
I I love the fact that Good Gravy and Top Thrill 2 were both announced on the same day.
That's right.
And
More people were talking about Good Gravy.
yes, and
The
Good
marketing
Gravy
campaign behind
just
it.
completely overshadowed. Um, and it's I mean, when you look at the theme on the surface, it's kind of absurd, right? But
But it's so wholesome.
exactly, but that's the whole point though. Is like not only is it incredibly wholesome, but it just goes to show what happens when a park has an idea and they're like, we're not exactly sure how this is going to go, but let's just run with it. Like let's just commit
Let's just
and
see what
see what
happens.
happens. Yeah. And my gosh, did it work? Because they think about it, like the marketing campaign for Good Gravy exclamation point completely overshadowed the reimagining of Top Thrill Dragster into Top Thrill 2. A Vekoma family boomerang 420-foot Stratocoaster. A Vekoma family boomerang
Hey,
overshadowed it.
it worked. The marketing worked.
Oh, it's so worked. It's so worked. And going back to the marketing and the theme of that ride, did you know you probably already knew this, but did you know that the ride vehicle for that attraction, all of the stenciling on the side of the gravy boat is all actually hand painted,
Yeah, I have heard that.
which is just insane to me that all of that is hand painted on. Like it could have been very easily for them to have just gotten a vinyl decal and glued it
Yeah.
on and said, okay, have, have a good day. But again, with that coaster installation, like we've said earlier, of just the park going the extra mile with it and running with the story, it, man.
And shaping coaster cars to gravy boats. Like, who does that?
Vacoma.
It's like the reach that some of this silliness has. Like, I don't know how many of our friends will be on a ride and we just start mixing.
I feel like we did that on Quest at Emerald Park
Yeah, pretty
whenever we
much
were.
any Vacoma family boomerang now we do it. I know Nate did it. I have a video of him doing it like through the station in Europa Park of Alpine Express. I look back at the footage and I just see Nate smiling and mixing in the video. I'm like, really?
Oh man, yeah, and oh gosh, that write off at Hollywood Nights that created that phenomenon.
Oh, was that a thing that started at Hollywood Nights?
Yeah, it was a write up at Hollywood Nights in 2023. No, no,
Or
not 23,
whatever year it
24.
opened, I assume.
Yeah, 24. It was in 2024. There was a write up that was in the control booth, and as soon as we would begin the dispatch sequence, he was just okay and mix, 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 and everybody on the train was just doing that.
It's so funny to see people doing that as trains go by. Just walk
And-
by, happen to glance up at a train and like, oh, there's somebody mixing.
yep, and don't forget screaming in the can.
Oh yes.
Oh man, they there's also a really cool Easter egg on that on the label for the cranberry sauce for the can of the ride.
So there's another holiday for you, Easter.
Yeah, right. That's another one that they could do. That would actually be really fun, I think, for them to do. That would be really neat. But there is an Easter egg on the nutritional facts of the label that if you look up at the top of it, I believe it's the servings. It's actually the weight of the whole ride converted to grams.
Oh jeez. Hopefully
So,
look up a picture of that.
oh yeah, it's very funny. I actually did not know about that until somebody else told me about it. And yeah, going back to Steven's comment too of like thinking about that 27 project, it's going to be interesting because of course nobody really knows what it's going to be, and we don't know if it's a coaster, we don't know if it's another water ride, we don't know if maybe it's just a Taco Bell, you know, like we don't know. Um,
Cinco de Mayo section with a Taco Bell and nothing else.
listen.
I'll be okay with it.
That I mean, again, that could be another holiday that would be really, really cool to celebrate. I mean, I think there could be a family friendly way to be able to do that. Maybe not perhaps call it Cinco de Mayo, but something something along the lines of like a fiesta type of thing. That would be really neat. Um, but also like thinking about that area and the forthcoming attraction. Yeah, they are already clearing land for it. They do already have some construction equipment on site. That was uh, as of my most recent visit. So work's begun. So something's coming.
Now that I think about it more, I would love to see other like cultural holidays worked in. So like in the Halloween section, having something themed to like La Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, that or even if it's not necessarily a holiday section, but maybe build some seasonal event experiences around those and
Hmm.
integrate that in. Um, kind of like with the Summer Wine Down Festival of having some unique food offerings that they don't typically offer in park. Um, Maybe different beverages, things like that. Because the Legacy Cedar Fair parks, for example, have seen tremendous success in offering those types of events, such as Grand Carnival. Um, Grand Carnival, for example, at Kings Island alone, had pulled in more revenue and guests when it was first unveiled than a new coaster being installed did. So it does show that if you have a very unique experience, which I think is going to be very paramount in the amusement space in the future, um, to continue to pull guests back in park, it does go to show that these unique seasonal experiences can pay dividends to parks and work. So I think it would be really cool to see some like seasonal, cultural themed events happen at Holiday World. That
Mhm.
would be a really cool thing to celebrate and honor those other cultural holidays that are of significance while not having to, put a bunch of money into a new section that may or may not work long term.
And I think it would be a good fit, like being a family park and the amount of kids that come to that park, introducing them to these other cultures and just learning more
Yeah.
about the world outside of, Santa Claus, Indiana.
No, I completely agree. It would be really cool to see. I mean, this is really, really ambitious here. But, one park that does it really well that comes to mind, uh, Jen, you're going to win this one. Europa Park. Like, Europa Park does that very, very well of having all of these different themed areas from all over the world, but yet you can go to each one and there's something unique. Like, for example, I think of, oh dear, was it the Swedish area that we were in? Or was it it wasn't Finland. I think it was Swedish, where you got your soup bowl at. You got a bread soup bowl.
Oh, Switzerland area.
Switzerland, yes, thank you.
The
But
the
like
the cheese soup.
the cheese soup, which was very delicious, by the way.
Yes, yes, it was.
Um, but having themed areas like that with unique food offerings where it doesn't even have to be that big of a section in the park, but you could still execute it extremely well and then still offer unique foods that help to give your guests a sense of place in
Mhm.
that theming and help with that immersion. You know, that could pay, it would pay really big dividends, I think, if Holiday World did do something like that.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I know it will probably never, ever, ever happen, but maybe have like a Christmas market or something to where they don't even have to open up the whole park, but they just have like a Christmas market that
Oh,
people
that
can
would be
walk
so
around,
cool.
you know? Uh, kind of like a Chris Kindle market, European style.
Yeah.
Uh, again, all these things take time, all these things take planning, all these things take money. We could dream in fantasy land and or in sandbox mode or roller coaster tycoon all we want. But at the end of the day, these types of events do cost money and do have a price tag to them. And it comes down to, are you going to be able to attract enough guests to be able to break even or have a profit on that event?
Yep.
So I completely understand the rationale of why Holiday World doesn't have something like that or have an event like that is clearly not in the season of their operation. Um, yeah, I mean, we can dream all we want, but at the end of the day, all of these ideas take resources, time, and money, and it comes down to if the business is going to make money off of it.
It all comes down to money.
Money, 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 as in the words of Mr. Krabs.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Well, now that we've already somehow been talking for an hour and 45 minutes, and we have gotten through all of our comments, do we have any other last words about Holiday World?
Oh man, I think the last words are, if so back in Holiday World's history, um, the person that was responsible for really modernizing the park and growing the park and being passionate about the park was the former park president Will Cook. Um, Will was a part of the family that part of the Cook family that founded the park back in 1946. I believe it was 46. Yes, 46. If it wasn't for his tenacity and his vigor and his imaginative brain, we wouldn't have a lot of the renowned attractions that Holiday World has to offer, such as Raven, Legend, Voyage, Wildebeest, Mammoth. It's I definitely wish I could go back and just meet him and hear his passion and just shake his hand.
Yeah.
And again, the modern holiday world that we all enjoy and love would not be here today if it wasn't for Will Cook. And it's very unfortunate that he's no longer with us. And the amusement industry can use more people like him. And I think Jeffrey Siebert is another tremendous example too, of just somebody that cares but thinks about every single detail of the guest experience, because that's what it takes for any type of amusement park or attraction or theme park to be successful. It takes somebody that has that vigor, that can not only empower their entire team but can also take a look around and be like, you know what, those benches need to be replaced. And I hope that there's more and more people that are coming into the industry or about to enter the industry, or if you're listening and you are in the industry, I hope that you continue to do that, because guests notice.
They do, for sure.
Yeah. I think Holiday World, all in all, they've had a tremendous history for since 1946, and I think the sky is the limit, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, I agree. You sum it up a lot better than I do, so I'm just letting that happen. Well, this has been a very festive conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish all of us could have been here, but
Yeah,
life
I
is
do
a
too.
podcast.
Yes, and thank you for allowing me to come on and talk and be able to do a bit of a deep dive on Holiday World with you all. Jen and Brian, I know you all could not be here tonight, and I'm very, very sorry that I could not enjoy the riveting conversation that I'm sure that we all could have had.
To be fair, Jen mostly just would have been complaining about Voyage and Coaster Madness, but
Oh, well, which it would have made for great content, because her and I would have been going back and forth passively the entire time.
one day we will get Jen to Holiday World to experience Voyage for herself.
And we will change her mind.
Yes. Well, until next time, hashtag think inverted, think festive.
Think hashtag think festive, hashtag think gravy.
I'd say happy holidays, but I'd rather I'm gonna go to the hashtag happy Honda days.
Happy Honda days. My house only celebrates Toyota Thon.
Merry Chrysler. I don't know what Nissan is, except for when I bought my car, it was Nissan Thrill of the Sales event. So,
woo!
But yeah, go to Holiday World, go enjoy it, and see for yourself. And,
Definitely.
And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.